Shawn, now that you've been here for a couple of days,
Yes,
and we've been doing some training and you've been learning how to grind and polish a floor,
that's right.
using your Titan. This is your Titan. This is the one.
The actual one.
The one you bought.
That's
yeah,
right.
Exactly. So if you don't mind me asking, what prompted you to consider purchasing a WerkMaster machine?
In our case, there was a project we have where it's an operating grocery store. It's being completely renovated over about 16 months, and our calls for assistance to sub were not returned, or the numbers we were getting were high because there were so many mobilizations, 2,000 feet, 800 feet, even 350 square feet. And you can imagine, if you're in business and you have to mobilize that many times. Plus, we're in a hurry. So when we get to the place where we're ready to do the floor, we didn't want to have to slow down. And when we looked at the cost of the machine and the other challenges we had, it was like, okay, we have a pretty compelling argument to think about doing this on our own. Of course, then we had to think about, okay, do we have the skill sets or the right types of aptitudes to do this? I've gotten stuck with do-it-yourself things before that don't work out well. And yet, I know a lot about concrete. Grinding and polishing isn't something we've done. We have profiled for floor prep with less capable machines and smaller ones, but it's not something we ever considered actually getting into. We did it as a course of the work we were doing. Got online, started looking and researching, and then I was buffing years and years ago, and you had to know how to ride a buffer. Actually, you had to know how to ride a buffer too, but usually got in trouble for that. But to run the buffer, it had a definite way to control it, and if you smashed into things, it made your employer not so happy. But when I started looking at the plates and how they turn, and then we've experienced firsthand in other activities that we perform at work, that edges can be just a lot. And so as soon as I saw we can get within an 1/8 inch of the wall, it immediately had my attention because it consumes so much of our energy. So started reading. I decided, kind of narrowed it down to where I could have gone other places in the country. They seem to make plenty good enough machines, but I was kind of hoping to find some place in the Northwest that if I had to, I could get machine support. So then my next question is how well is the machine supported? And you can buy it, it's a great tool, but then what? And I was impressed with the number of videos that are available online. They're numerous. Not just that, the content of the videos wasn't merely what I would call the marketing set, the ones that it shows it in a pristine environment, everything's perfect, and see we can get close to the edge. Yeah, there was videos on there about floors that were pretty messed up to begin with, how to change bearings on I was very fascinated by the drive system. There was technical things online. The videos, not just to read, but to watch. And the more I watched, the more I became convinced, and then I thought, okay, well, what about coverage and size? Do I need more than one machine? I called up, at that point, I had been probably researching for a week or two, and had already kind of narrowed in on WerkMaster, but decided, okay, now I'm at the place where it's going to be faster for me to ask questions. So I contacted WerkMaster. I got a hold of Gordon, told him what we were doing and why we were interested, and he said, well, it sounds like you think. I said, are we targeting the right machine? Should I have a smaller one or a bigger one? In the end, it was like, no, you're honed in pretty well. This is probably it. And it seems easy now that I know more about the machine that this is a workhorse. It's a mid-range workhorse, covers a lot of variety of tasks, even a more variety of tasks than I even imagined at the beginning. So got questions answered, was pleased with the answers. They were articulate, it was personable, there were real people. It isn't, sorry, we can't help you, you can do that online. No, there was actually old school customer service. It's important to me, always has been, even when I was younger, but it's harder and harder to find. So those are the things that were pretty compelling. And then lastly was, okay, so if I wanted to buy one, how much does it cost? How available is it? Do you have problems with getting parts? Had all the right answers, and here I am.
Well, we're happy to have you. So when we were going through the training program, were there certain things that stood out to you that you didn't expect, or that gave you results beyond what you expected?
Probably the biggest thing is that I was concerned that I'm a concrete finisher, and I've tried to teach concrete finishing, and it seems like some people have the aptitude to finish. They understand what's happening, and it's easy to teach them, and other people it's very, very difficult. I didn't know for sure how nuanced operating the machine was, and that's why I wanted to actually touch it. And there are some things to learn. I mean, I don't mean to suggest there aren't, but I have never done this before. I mean, I've done a lot, other things that are kind of related, but never actually polished a floor. And your explanations of the tooling, how they worked, the sequencing, why they matter, was very thorough in my mind. And so I thought, okay, so now all that's left is, does it work? Can I do it? Never done it before, and I'm standing on something that I'm very happy with. This is beyond what our customer will require. And I did not feel like I was exercising great brilliance when I was operating the machine. And not that anybody that works for anybody is not brilliant, but the idea of, can you make a mistake, can you make blunders, and while there are some you can do, they're not unrepairable, and mostly just knowing about them, they're easy ways to work around them. Huh. So I think it's trainable, and with anybody who cares and has work ethic and some type of enjoyment of having created something so tangibly nice, I'm optimistic that there will be people in our organization that will not only like to do it, but be good at it.
Perfect. Well, we appreciate your time and coming up here. It was fun working together and talking and sharing some business ideas and experiences.
Yes.
I'm a little older than you, as we discussed, but yeah, to watch you operating the machine, you did a great job. You were a great student, and we encourage anyone that's thinking of ever getting one of our pieces of equipment, as we discussed, you and I, watch the videos, feel confident in the fact that what you're seeing is really what the real world is.
Yes.
And as you said, we go on some of the worst floors just to show people that you can do it.
Yeah.
And that. So we thank you, and
thank you
look
very much.
forward to working with you on other projects.
Likewise.
Thanks.